Charge, as the Vigor's name implies, has DeWitt charge up his skyhook, then fly at the target. And so when he slams into them, not only does he do melee damage, but stuns them for a while as well. And in addition, if you have any gear with melee bonuses, they'll have the same chance to be applied to nearby targets. Naturally, some targets might not be stunned, but they will still be damaged. And this is remarkably true when fighting heavy hitters. When held for a couple seconds, the skyhook revs up even more for an incredibly devastating blow and often one-shots targets and turrets depending on what gear equipped. So gear like Brittle Skin, which allows 2 times more damage for 5 seconds, Burning Halo, which does 300 fire damage over 4 seconds, and Overkill, a personal favorite of mine, which actually shocks surrounding opponents when the original target was killed with excess damage, synergize extremely well with charge. And just like all other Vigors, it can be simultaneously charged up while using suppressive fire. The first upgrade to charge, which is 1.6k from the factory, grants Booker invulnerability from the start of the attack to finish, so closing in on rocket turrets in this way is especially helpful. If close up on a foe, you'll actually get 1 second after the attack, so keep that in mind. Furthermore, it has an added bonus of recharging the shield immediately. And in this sense, charge offers great defensive options which can be used like a parry if timed correctly. For the second upgrade, it's $555 in downtown Emporia, and isn't really worth getting in my opinion, especially if you have some good melee gear, but it does offer a small explosive AoE. I never really noticed it after I got the upgrade, so maybe I'm missing something, but personally I'd avoid it. Tips and tactics. Obviously, charge is really great at covering distance, and it should be one of the main vigors you think of when you see a cluster of enemies together. And as an added plus, charge can fly wherever the line of sight is clear, so instead of like running upstairs or being blocked by a guardrail, just jump and fly. And as said before, it also counts as a melee attack and makes a spread AoE which reverberates effects if applicable. So for example, melee gear such as shock or fire hats have the chance to be spread to nearby enemies, and that substitutes the use of any corresponding vigors. To be honest, it's extremely effective with virtually all vigors, and with paired with melee focused hats, Bucking Bronco gets super powered, twice as much splash damage, and plus the target gets moonshot. When used with Blood to Salt, which makes 40% of the people you kill hold salts on death, you can keep this going and going, rendering yourself almost completely invincible. And again, if you have melee focused hats, I know I keep saying melee focused hats, but if you do have them and a foe disintegrates, you receive any salts the target has automatically. And if you do have any melee gear, following up Murder of Crows with charge afterward, you do a lot of damage with charge when it's done right. Return to Sender, probably one of the most misunderstood, underrated, and underused vigors ever. It's incredibly versatile and a great vigor, allowing use for an inexperienced player to shine, and superb devastation in the hands of an expert. One of the few vigors with primary use being defensive, Return to Sender begets Booker a temporary shield for about 5 seconds and blocks literally everything when upgraded. The alternate version of this vigor is the type I care about and the type you should care about. Think of it as the new telekinesis, but simplified. When this vigor is held, DeWitt absorbs every bullet and every attack, and when thrown, unleashes the same amount of damage that would have been dealt to Booker. So in huge firefights, this vigor proves invaluable and can quickly gain tremendous damage in seconds. One of the best ways to deal with motorized patriots and other motorized enemies, especially with other enemies around to effectively feed you bonus damage. The first upgrade, Return for Less, $898 in downtown Emporia, extends the shield duration in the first mode and greatly reduces salt cost of the held version. Absorbing the entire clip from a mosquito turret only costs the same amount as a single Bucking Bronco use, and that's cheap. Upgraded, this vigor is the most powerful vigor for the cheapest amount of salts compared to all other vigors if used correctly. The second upgrade, Sender Aid, for 1.2k in downtown Emporia, lets you absorb all incoming ammunition, including rockets and sniper bullets. When fully upgraded, you're literally invincible. So using it to get out of harm's way when low on health and low on salts proves to be quite invaluable. Tips and tactics. Like telekinesis in Bioshock 1, this vigor is best used when you have a firm grasp of timing to avoid wasting salts, and similarly must be under fire to be effective. When stuck in a corner against a handyman, if in a bind, it's more defensively effective than charge and more efficient. When low on health and on the verge of dying, switch to this vigor to avoid death and let your shield recharge. If timed correctly, mosquitoes, those little balloon turrets, can be taken out with a sliver of salts, and minimal follow-up fire, if any, can be used with rocket boys or flare gun minions, but I strongly suggest possession so that they can harm others and just kill themselves. Plus, trying to guess when to activate RTS can be really tricky since they may take seconds in between shots, and it really sucks for salt use. Also, you should equip anything involving trap vigors, as you'll be using the trap version a lot. Okay guys, hey, thanks for watching, and it took me a little bit to try to get the footage. My FPS really needs help. I mean, my computer is starting to get really old, got in 2010. It's an Alienware, I know, super expensive, Alienware overrated. They are overrated, but I think I have a 285 GTX SLI right now in M form, so I really gotta upgrade. I'm trying to get a new computer, so let me know guys. What you thought about this, and most likely for the next one I'll be doing Undertow, and maybe I'll do Crows or something, Murder of Crows, who knows. Anyways, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I guess I will be on later. Alright guys, thanks.